Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play LSD. I'm your host CPC and in our last episode, I think I killed a guy. A ghost guy, yes, but he screamed when I stood on him, and then the entire violence district just melted and fell apart around me. I don't know what the hell that was all about. Although, none of that really matters, because we begin today's story in scenic Kyoto. Or maybe it's an approximation, I don't know. Like, I often dream of this one Japanese-style town, and I don't know what it is that sends me there, but whatever. It's built at the foot of an active volcano, so it keeps getting destroyed and rebuilt slightly differently every time that I go there. And I think it's... Whoa! It's you! I don't dream of you very often. I'm gonna get away from you. And I think the volcano is my brain's way of sort of rationalizing why the town looks different every time, rather than I've never been to Japan, so I really don't know. And it's always interesting to see ways in which my brain deals with things that it doesn't know, but it's trying to dream about anyway. I mean, if I don't know directions somewhere, I'll be met with an impenetrable wall of flies. That's a pretty frequent one. I mean, it's never anything nice, you know, like a wall that I can't climb over, or a fence. It's always a dreadful, impassable barrier from hell. And it's weird, because when you look at all the stuff that my brain does come up with, there's some really complex stuff in there. But, man, the other side of a street in America? That is just not happening, my friend. Now, the last time I was here, I ended up watching the entire world grow, and then I was abruptly woken up. I didn't see the woman in the room this year, so I'm gonna move on. Wait, this year? I mean tonight. Those are the same thing, right? But this is one of the paradoxes of doing this. I talk a lot so I can get good, but if I talk too much, the whole thing begins to slide backwards and suddenly I'm just making stupid sentences that don't end the way that you think they're going to hydroxyzine. And hydroxyzine is a fun word, because it's the only one in the English language that uses X, Y, and Z in that order. Yeah, in addition to going the wrong way in the video game LSD, another one of my stupid hobbies is learning pointless facts about words. For example, did you know the longest word you can touch type with the right hand alone is Monopoly? And with the left hand, stewardesses. Or if you don't want to move from the top row, typewriter. There's nothing really interesting on the home row, because there's not that big a variety of letters, but you can type Gallagher if you like that kind of thing. And I do. So yeah, that's me and what I do in my spare time. Stupid word games. Like, I once wrote a sentence where each word pair was an anagram of itself, and the whole thing told a little story. And it ran... Senora reasons... Dan and Sutler Butler's newly sealed Wensleydale... It went on, but I forget. And that cliff doesn't go on. Look at that. I mean, I get that it's a technical limitation and all, but if it were up to me, I'd have the bottom of the cliff tapered, so it looks like it's fading into the mist, rather than just sitting in the middle of an empty skybox. And I wonder when that stopped becoming permissible. Like, if you look at certain parts of older games, specifically games in the mid-late 90s, skyboxes just didn't exist. You know, the game world existed, and then there was this huge empty void. It was probably around, like, Final Fantasy VII or something like that. Games where every backdrop was pre-rendered, and there was no skybox to speak of at all. Except for the world map, I suppose. Man, where am I, and what am I doing? I forgot. So I'm going to link with this tree. I'm told that this is the best way of playing LSD. Just doing whatever you feel like, as and when you feel like doing it. Trouble being, you can't really program a game to predict random behavior like that. Anything? Well, alright then. I wonder if you can see anything if you summon that guy while looking over your shoulder. Although knowing the game, the camera would just snap forwards, and you'd see the wall as soon as you linked. And I don't like the word snap. I don't know why, it sounds awful. Tinny. You know? Oh. It looks like it's the window that sends me here, not the girl in the bed. Interesting. This could be applied to the alien theory pretty handily, I think, because I always equate this room with being like the sleep experiment's control room, so it makes sense that the bed would send you here. Oh, and look at that! A little girl playing games. This is probably in no way related to what is going on. I mean, this can explain what's going on with the dying woman in the bed now that I think about it. Okay, assume for a moment that I am right, that this game is some sleep experiment conducted by aliens on abducted human beings. The person in the bed could be indicative of somebody else who is experiencing the same thing. Like somebody who has also been abducted and is going through the sleep experiment. And if the beings conducting the experiment don't understand humans, it would make sense to see the other participants slowly wither and die. Like if they're not being fed, or whatever. In fact, you could go one further, and suggest that the play character withered and died at some point, so you are not controlling the same person that you began playing as. Oh, and I see you out there, woman in draw distance. Kinda sucks that I can't go say hello. If you follow along with the sleep experiment theory, you could suggest that the dream chart isn't mapping the dreams of one individual, but 365 individuals experiencing one set of circumstances. I mean, it could be like Zombie U in that respect. Each night you're a different person, and the data is all bleeding together, the sleep experiment system is failing, and that's why the game slowly corrupts itself as you play through it. I mean, kind of along those lines, a friend of mine wants to start an MMORPG where you are assigned a character rather than creating one. But folks would just keep re-rolling until they got what they wanted, thus defying the point of the gimmick. I mean, and this is one of the weird paradoxes of gaming. Like, if you change anything, it's dumb and stupid. But if you don't change, then it's dull and boring. And, like, people complain that Sonic does all of this stupid gimmick stuff, but people also complain that Mario doesn't, and he is still, you know, run, jump, stomp, get coin. How do you win with that kind of logic? I don't know. And that's why I never really got to the video game industry. You know, that and everybody else wants in. And I don't have any really appreciated skills beyond the ability to throw out a bunch of ideas. Oh, did anyone else just notice that? As soon as the platform went completely into the draw distance, I ended up falling down. Now that's interesting. It's almost as if they predicted something like that would happen. Now, I don't know how I can justify the alien sleep experiment theory alongside stuff like falling out of the grey room. You know, how can you be part of a simulation if the simulation ends without you being in it? But it's times like this that I choose to invoke the MST3K rule and go, it's just a game, you should really just relax and move on. And then probably watch a dreadful movie afterwards. Now I really want to watch Mystery Science Theater 3000. I think I'll do that after this episode. I just hope that I pick a good one, because it can be really hard to find a decent Whoa! Game, what are you doing all the way over there? I mean, I would understand an upper or a downer, but dynamic? I didn't even do anything! Although, now I have a new goal for whenever I spawn close to the edge of the world map like that. Throw yourself off, collect insane result. Oh, so of course, the game spawns me away from the edge of the world map. Oh, but I'm next to a pit, and I can see what this does to the dream chart. Will I still be over there on the right? Evidently not. But I am back over here beside the Pringles again, so I guess we can write that down as a fairly reliable result, thus bringing the total number of fairly reliable results to 1. I mean 2, if you count the text and video dreams, but I don't know if that counts. So whatever, let's go ahead and see what's going on. And if it's anything like yesterday, we'll be next to the pits again. Oh, and we are. Nice. Although I say yesterday, I mean actually physically yesterday when I recorded that episode. I took a break before the last episode. And in today's episode, I choose to make a break for the organic maze, so I can go and explore some more. And I like the term organic maze. It sounds like something cool and complex and verdant, rather than the squishy tunnel that it actually is. Although with that said, I always feel like this place is made out of bone, rather than flesh. Like possibly because the footstep noise goes tap tap, and in here it's all slowly. Was that wall being all wavy because of how it's textured, or was that a weird bug with the manner in which it was being rendered? Doesn't really matter, because here is Happy Town, a place where nothing seems to render improperly, because everything's gone fairly well while I've been playing the game. That's a good point, in fact. I've seen stuff that made me go, wait, what? In every single map of the game? Except for this one. Why is this one so much... No, wait, I'm lying. Because those huge daisies just like to show up wherever. But still, apart from that one thing, Happy Town seems to be pretty solidly programmed. I wonder why certain areas seem more prone to stuff going wrong than others. I mean, this whole game is running on the same engine, so... what's going on? And something I haven't been able to work out or tie into any of the game theories, the sleep experiment, the repressed memories, or whatever. What are those Tetris-looking cubes in the sky? Like, the cubes, that cube there, that's easy enough. The Dream Diary talks about UFOs being cubes floating in the sky. But what about the non-textured Tetris-looking ones? Like that one just coming on the horizon. I mean, as far as I can tell, it doesn't really pertain to anything. It's just sort of... there, you know? And there goes me trying to rationalize everything again. At least I'm doing a better job of rationalizing everything than I am of working out where I'm going to be going. Right, there has to be something left to find or interact with in Happy Town. There's just nothing that... Alright, what the hell was that? You heard that creaking noise? Yes? I mean, I've queried this in a previous episode. I'm going to query it now, but there is nothing here to make it, so what on earth could it be? Oh, thank you for joining us, left side of the map. You are totally on the ball. See, not even Happy Town wants to be in Happy Town. I should probably find something interesting. Stat. I think I'm going to follow this little path, and I'm going to go stare at the whale. Or, more likely, I'm going to end up running into the Grey Man, because not only does he like to spawn in Happy Town, he really likes to spawn in this little area. You know, I think it's because it's a comparatively small and narrow with no real escape. Until you realise that there is a means of escape literally all around you. Oh. Escape to the Violence District, apparently. But that's okay, I have a vague idea of what's going on here. Like assaulting it! Except I think I have that wrong, and the title of the movie that I'm thinking of is Assault on Precinct 13, not District 13. Ah, whatever. I knew what I meant. And now, I'm going to go and check the warehouses. And I have only just realised that I don't know what it says above the doors. That's an interesting one. And I think it's a shame that I can't read Japanese, because it would probably help to explain a little bit more of the game, I think. Also, yeah, marvel at the guy who complains that Dream Chart doesn't give him a great deal of variety when he decides to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But I have an excuse to this time, he says, as the game fades to red and doesn't let him finish that thought. It sucks. And it's just typical of this game. As soon as you make progress, you end up right back at the start. LSD the Dream Emulator, the most Sisyphean of all the tasks. I think we can afford to have another one. We're 14 minutes in, and this is going to be a comparatively short episode in terms of LSD. I think that one of the more notable benchmarks in my videos is the length of each gets progressively longer. Is it me? Or is this the music from the Violence District, but with more spacey tones that you've come to expect from the temple? That's pretty weird. But yeah, if you look at some of my earlier videos, and please don't, because they're awful, you see a lot of me going, yeah, a minute-long video. Well, that's content. That'll do. And now, like 6 years later, my descent into madness has completed with me doing half-hour videos. And I know that there are folks with like 3-hour podcasts or marathon streams looking over like, yeah, that is super cute, Andy. But I mean, I think half an hour is pretty good for what is essentially me sitting here talking to myself. And I'm not going to go bug you. I have some exploring to do. Oh, right, yes. Finishing a thought that the game didn't want me to. I saw the little ghosties in this warehouse the other night, and I stomped on them. And I crushed the ghost, which in turn crushed me and the entirety of the violence district. Which makes sense. I mean, if the game has scaling up algorithms, it would be easy enough to reverse them and have scaling down algorithms as well. Although, knowing what I do of the game, it will now never do any of that ever again. And I would look like a madman if I didn't catch it on film. Now I look like a madman for filming it, but, you know, a little madness is fine. The Cheshire Cat said that, and I'm from Cheshire, so it all comes full circle. Maybe it was Charles Manson said that. Those two are the same thing, right? Also, astute viewers will notice that I am not, in fact, looking for the ghosts. Tonight, I'm going to see if any of the hanging women will spawn, so I can get the game to stretch and see what happens to them. A lot of variables riding on this one, and it rather depends on the game liking me. Except that we're 66 episodes in, and we've kind of established by now, it really doesn't. Clearly. I mean, I like how I'm acting like a kid and excitedly running up to the crash scene in hopes of seeing some bodies. I wonder if that says anything about my personality. Probably not, because this is a video game. Anything? No. Alright, that's the boat, that sound. That doesn't count. Sorry, I guess I'm racist against boats as well as nouns. It's all coming up during this session, I tell you what. Why can I hear footsteps? Aside from my own, I mean. It's not Trenchcoat, because he makes footsteps, he just... Oh! Well, there you go, it's Hopscotch Girl. Way to spook me out there, kid. I'm also pretty sure you're playing the game wrong. Your feet are meant to go in the circles? Oh, what? Ooh, purple. That's a new one. Maybe she was playing hopscotch right, if she was going to make me link in such a way. And that is funny. Very funny indeed. Why is it the young girl and the young lady both want to send me to the grey room? That probably symbolizes something, but I don't want to guess what it is. For once. This music's nice. I'll listen to that. Oh, except the astronauts ruined it. I wonder why he makes a low bugle sound. To answer that question with another question, what noises would an astronaut make? I have no idea, so I suppose a slow bugle noise is just as good as any, I suppose. This is also a fun noise. It's like a low machine gurgle. It sounds kind of like in its... Whoa! Apparently we were off the floor in such a way that it didn't count. And then it merited landing on that one square again. This game, man, this game. I think we could afford to have one more night. Unless it's a short one, in which case it will be 2 nights. Or 3, or 4, or... I'm gonna get this video to like 20 minutes, okay? It seems like a good length. Which may, or may not, have been what she said. Although that's probably not gonna happen, because Pagoda Dreams are usually half as short as they usually are. Especially if you link out before you end the dream. Like a smart guy who meant to do that. And I'm pretty sure beginning in the pagoda means that your dream is gonna be shorter. That's an embarrassing thing. I never noticed that the pagoda shortens your dreams until I read it on the wiki. I just, you know, I just did my thing and I complained about it. I'm fairly sure the effect carries over when you leave, so let's get as far as we can before the end, and then just see where things go. I'm hoping to see the giant crystal again. I mean, not for any particular reason, I just like the look of it. Even though it gives me flashbacks to that one dreadful dungeon from Final Fantasy XII. And I think it is this way. I don't know. I'm used to leaving the pit via the Z-axis. I don't know where anything is relative to it. And there it is. I knew I was right the whole time. But I'm not going to ride that train too much, because that line has got me into trouble before, and I don't much feel like recounting why. So, I think we can afford to have one more dream. I mean, of course we can. We're not going to run out of film or anything like that. And hopefully we're not in the pagoda this time. Because I'm in the mood for actually going around and exploring and doing some stuff. Oh, but I hear a bird. We're back in the house. Heck yeah! I'm going to go and make a sandwich. Probably not, though, because there isn't really a kitchen here. I mean, come to think about it, there isn't a great deal in this apartment block at all. I mean, there's not even a dead body in the next apartment or anything. Probably for the best, because that would be really creepy if someone died and they were just left there. It's a key plot point from Ghostwatch. That's a really good show. You should go watch it. And it's a great example of how to do a slow burn and build up some tension, rather than just throwing stuff in your face all day, every day. Like, literally nothing happens for the first 40 minutes of the show. There's maybe one brief flash of the ghost, but that's it. And it's only towards the end that things start kicking off. It's great. Also, maybe don't have listened to that sentence, because it ruins some of the plot. Now, what was it made the guy spawn in this room the last time, or whenever it was? I probably did it by accident, so it's not something I can force to happen again. Ah, whatever, let's head upstairs. I'm gonna go watch The Astronaut. Watching things from afar is kinda peaceful, and I don't know why. Like, when you go to a hotel, it's nice to stand on the balcony outside and just watch people go by. Although I guess I spent too much time screwing around, and The Astronaut was gone. Sad times. Well, now I'm gonna go downstairs and screw around with the bar again. I need to drown my sorrows after finding out The Astronaut has left without me. Wait, did I overshoot? What? Whoa! Okay. Calm down. You're not meant to be able to sprint strafe like that. You can only sidestep at a normal walking pace. Like that. Did I just find a bug in the game or something? I don't know. It might not count because the movement on the ground floor seems to be slower than normal. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So yeah, that was me looking at a bar, and then the forecourt, and now I'm gonna vanish. I wonder if the astronaut eventually vanishes, or if he can keep going forever. Probably not the latter, because it'd certainly break the game to have a variable just decreasing forever. And why do you suppose the game keeps putting me next to the tree like that? And there's another point. In a recent run of videos, I talked about how the music seems to go through waves. It's all glitchy, it's all ambient, and so on. It's been doing the same thing with spawn points. I'd start between the tower blocks, and then out on the pier, now I'm beside the tree, and now I'm getting shot and going someplace else. I didn't know that I was close enough to that guy to aggro him. I mean, I'm sure I have been closer than that, and he didn't do anything like that. But, here you go. Man, would you listen to this music? Sounds like it's all small plastic gears grinding. I don't know if it's because my dad used to be an actual engineer, but I love listening to machinery making music. Or even just rhythmic beats. Have you ever heard a grandfather clock? That is heaven. Oh, it's these two again. So, following on my hypothesis about the bear representing some kind of an attacker, he apparently has some script attached to him where he runs away if you approach him. Exactly the sort of thing that an attacker would do if you interrupted him chasing his victim, right? Oh, and I thought this was music for the Violence District. I was kind of hoping the bear would send me there, so I could go, ah-ha-ha, and use it to further my point. I don't know how to properly explain this one with relation to the idea. I need to do a little bit more thinking. I wonder if the mountain man actually faces something. I think it'd be super neat if it were the Violence District, but I bet it isn't. The Violence District is in a mountain range in the middle of a field, if I recall. Is this where the UFOs spawn? No, I think it's more of a closed little alcove. But I do see the obnoxious signpost, so maybe this thing will tell me where to go. Not really, though. It's just kind of there to look spooky. Now, if I had the ability to do so, I would have the texture for this crystal change depending on what direction you are facing. I'd basically have it skinned like oily metal or something like that. It's one of my favourite sights and colour schemes. And you, sir, are not one of my favourite sights. I'm gonna hurry away from you. An alternate theory relating to the Grey Man. What if he's part of the sleep experiment and he's neither good nor bad, he's just there? And I'm going to leave on this note and ask you to split into groups of 3 and discuss it amongst yourselves. We will continue this in our next lesson, and until next time, class dismissed.